Hi, this is Greg in Pensacola, Florida. I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. Tonight we're going to take a look at an active Kickstarter called the HexT 3D Printable RPG Battlefield Modular Terrain Tiles by Adam Fletcher. Adam contacted me about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and he said he had a modular hex-based tile system and wondered if I'd take a look and see if I'd like to make a video on it. I'm a pretty big fan of hex encounter and war games to begin with, and so once I saw the tiles and I saw how this whole interlocking system worked, I was like, yeah, this looks really good. So he sent me all the tiles that he had created so far, and we came up with a small map. This is about 22 inches by 22 inches, and I'll flash pictures up of stuff here as I'm talking. And this is a small section of a Memoir 44 scenario map that we put together. And so, you know, I got this printed, and the more I printed and stuff like that, I was like, wow, this is a really, really nice system. And there are definitely a couple of game systems out there that if you play that at all, like Battletech, you should have already pledged. You should have seen the cover shot of this video and went and pledged, because instead of scouring the internet looking for HeroScape tiles that cost a fortune nowadays, this stuff right here, this is your answer. I mean, this is really nice. So basically what happens, like I said, there will be pictures flashing up here. You're going to print out this giant puzzle piece on the bottom. And so they look like puzzle pieces, and they're all going to interlock together. And this is a little small piece right here that would go up in a corner, and you see those locks on the side that are going to lock into other star-shaped or hex-shaped pieces. And then on top of that is what you're going to build. And so you're going to print off risers, and risers can look like this. Like these would be a couple edge risers. So this would sit on top of the initial jigsaw piece, and then the riser would go on top of there. And I have a couple other, and the risers can get pretty big. This is probably 20 millimeters thick. I don't have my micrometer with me right next to me, but this is tall. So and you can stack these up, and the train will come right up to it. This is another like hex side, on a corner, a really big piece right there. And then on top of these pieces, so on top of the riser pieces, you're going to have your normal tile. So this is a Grassland tile. It comes out of the Grassland folder, so on the pledge, this is what it would look like. I just tried to print stuff in green because there's no way I was going to paint any of this stuff for this video and get it done anywhere near in time. So I did the green was the grassland, then you had the water, and then obviously the browns are the mountains out here. So, and this just snaps right on top. So it's just a big stacking system of these different tiles. And then if you look at the edge of the tiles, you see that there are different heights. So you might have a 5 millimeter height, then a 10, and then possibly a 15 or a 20. I think the biggest ones I have on here are either 15 or 20 that are on this map. But I saw this as I started printing, and it started coming together in front of me. I'm like, wow, this is really, really nice. I would have loved to have had this a long time ago. Because back in 2007, I used to play Micro Armor, and that's a 6 millimeter tank system on there. And they used to make something called this. This is called Terrain Maker, and this is foam. And these are foam hexes that don't lock together, that you have to carve with an X-Acto knife, and that you would flock and make your terrain out of. If you look at this picture here, and then you look at the game board here, guess what? It's pretty similar. These tiles are a little bit bigger, but that doesn't mean you can't scale these tiles up or down from their normal size. So immediately when I saw these tiles, I went right to this, because I knew this was my garage. This has been in my garage since 2007, so it's been out there for 10 years. And I haven't done a thing with it. And there's more packs to this, and you just kind of push them all together. And they used to make a plastic thing that would supposedly lock them together, but they would fall apart, they chip, they're white, and when they chip, they show like a beacon of light and stuff like that. So in my head, I'm like, wow, this would completely replace that. And so then you're thinking about scale, and so just to throw out some of the scale, if you saw my last Kickstarter video, it was on 3D printable tanks. And so here's your APC 113. And so that sits right on there. Now granted, unless this was a really small demo board or probably infantry, you're going to need a much bigger board. But this stuff sits on here with no issue at all. You know, so even your bigger 28 mil, you know, and here's your T34, you know, sits on top of this terrain, you know, with no problem. Now, for me, I'm not much of a 28 mil gamer. I'm more of a 15 mil guy. This stuff is great. You know, here's your Tiger. I mean, that fits perfect on that Hex. Panzer. And then I also play Team Yankee. So here's your T-72 tank right there. So if you look at the scaling on there, and then if you grab some 15 mil terrain that's also 3D printed, this is off Thingiverse, you can plop that on the hexes, and then as you start to build this board out, you get some trees, you put them down, and you've got a awesome looking board on the table to game on. And this would draw a huge crowd at a con also. And so when I went back to him, you know, when we talked about making the board, I said, hey, I want to do it off a board game. And I think that threw him. I don't know if anyone's had done a board game on there, but it's a commands and colors system. And it's a great system. I said, let's do a battle lore map. And so basically, it's a board that has 3 sections on it, and you have command cards, and you play, and it has miniatures. And those miniatures are small. I think these are about 10 mil scale. But on the board game, this would be representative of what you would have on that hex. And you would move and you'd roll dice and you would shoot just like any other game on there, and you would suffer casualties and you would pull this tank off. But this, at a convention, would look tremendous. And so let me I got a couple of the other pieces out here. Yeah, infantry pieces right there on the board. And then we've got, you know, we got some guns and artillery and things like that. It also comes in a fantasy setting. You know, my very first board game I ever bought was Battle Lore. And so you can play that as historical or fantasy. And again, these figures are right at home on this size board. Yeah. I mean, these look great. I mean, this would really, at a game store, at your house, on a game night. So it goes beyond just your typical miniature war game or your RPG or something like that. You've got your whole board game side too. I'm a big Hex Encounter World War II guy, commands and color. Combat Commander. You could set up a hex map just like this, play the scenario out, find some 3D printable buildings, which I think he's going to make some more stuff too. He does have scatter terrain that can go on here, and I'll pop a picture of that up because he had one on the campaign site. So there'll be features you can put on here, but that doesn't mean you can't go and get something that you like. And like I said, I scaled this down to 15 mil. This was a 28 mil piece on Thingiverse, and there's nothing saying you can't scale this down a little bit more for the hex. So this was really nice to build. I mean, to me, it's got a lot of functionality on it. And then if you got miniature game, let me grab, you know, let's see, if you're doing a strategic level game or something like that, I'm just going to throw a couple of these. You know, you take, this is from the old Uncharted Seas game. So these are dwarves and, you know, a dragon fleet and stuff like that. So you can put them in the river. You know, if you're doing your RPG, you know, you can do an overland map on here, and this could be your party in the ship. So the versatility of going from a 28 millimeter system basically down, if you wanted to go to an RPG, this is almost a 10 mil system on there, or actually play this game like it was meant to be played. And let me grab one of the ships. You know, you could print out all blue, you know, for the water on there, and then, you know, this is one of the ships from the game on there. This is really nice stuff because it would travel well. You just put it in a box and then just link all this stuff together. You don't have to worry about it getting beat up or damaged or anything like that. And again, like on the campaign site, Alex has his painted, so it looks really good, you know. And I asked him, what was your inspiration, you know, for your Kickstarter? He said his main desire was to produce a versatile system that stopped my gaming tables from being flat. There are other terrain systems available, but I couldn't find one that was 3D printable. I wanted to go down the 3D printable route so I could only produce what I needed for the layout I was working on, and then it would be hardy enough for as many layouts and games as I could play. And so basically, right here I've got a 22 by 22 inch game board. Let's say, I want to expand on this now. Well, I just add the key hexes around the sides and I keep expanding out. He's got pictures of all the tiles, and the tiles will have their heights and stuff on them like that. And then you have these edge feature tiles. So if I pull this one out, and you see right here, I can pop this, right off the top. So you can print this tile that bucks up against this stream, and this makes a nice cliff wall. But you have all these options that you can put on the back of here, so that depending what size that you're going up, next to on there, that you can just print that off. It press fits right onto the tile, so it snaps down just like that. And then this goes on here. So you might ask about, cost, tile cost. Well, I printed everything on here on a Makergear M3. I was using Makergeeks filament. So if I use an average roll price of $22 to print the riser number 100, you're looking, it was 28 cents. And then if you're looking at a standard, I think like this tile right here. Yeah, so if you're looking at, tile 10, like this is tile number 10 on here. This is 35 cents for a tile. So that's with 10% infill, and it's great. I just put these in a box, they're ready to go. I don't have to worry about anything. And then he also has layouts. I think I said this already, but I'll say it again, because it's important that when you're designing your map out, obviously if you've got a 5 millimeter lift right here, that you're matching it up with another 5 millimeter tile. So he does have all those layouts for the tiles also, because that was something I had to ask early on. And it was a recommendation that I had, was to make sure that all these tiles are labeled with, their respective heights, because it just makes building a little bit easier. Then I asked him, if there's anything else that, he'd like to let you guys know. And he said that this is the only start of the HexT system. I've already had a lot of suggestions for expansions of the system, and I'm always looking for more. CBR3D.com will be offering the system ready for print in the near future. I'm also developing some 3D printable real-world buildings, demolished or standing, for the game table. So that's going to be nice too. If you've got some 3D printable buildings, you can put them around the board and stuff like that. So it's a really cool system. I mean, you've got everything from your large 28 mil, that if you did a whole 4x6 game board on there, that you can put your tanks, or a 4x8. You got your 15 mil, which you can do the 4x6 board on. You can print your own terrain, you can put it down on there and things like that. You can also move from your strategic type map, or your RPG type map. This is our campaign map, and you start, labeling houses and dungeons and things like that going across. So there's tons of features that are going on here, and it's a really inexpensive system. The pledge level is very good, for the cost and stuff that you're getting. You don't have to print it like I printed it here. You could print everything in one color and paint it, or you can do like I did. I printed, green and brown and blue, and if I wanted deep water for a lake, I printed in a darker blue and stuff like that. That's just kind of, it's easy. It just helps me throw it all in a box. And then, all of the pieces on the bottom are labeled with a Roman numeral on there. So maybe the only thing you're going to need is just Google Roman numeral to numeral converter, because if you get up into 500, I'm good through 20, maybe 50 on there. But when you get up into 500s and stuff, you might need to double check what the numbers are, because these pieces over here, these were mistakes because I can't read the Roman numerals. I thought they were one thing and they were something else, but that's all right. Might need these, or I can work around these pieces in the future. So this is fun. If you haven't seen this campaign, like I said, it's already funded. Go ahead and jump in on it. It's not crazy expensive, and you're getting a metric ton of tiles. Like I said, if you're a BattleTech player, you should have already pledged by now on there, hands down, because finding HeroScape files this late in the game, and I was a huge HeroScape player back in the day. I mean, it was crazy what these things go for, because I know how much money I made when I sold my stuff, and that was years ago. And so here you are. It's a HexT system by Adam Fletcher. It's on Kickstarter right now. It's a great looking system. You know, I really like the pieces that are here in front of me, you know, and I'm definitely going to expand on this. So it's nice, you know. And just right before I get out of here, let me, you know, I can pull a couple tiles off down here just so you can see some other stuff, because I know I snapped some pictures up on here, you know. So this gives you a better look of what these puzzle pieces look like down here, then the riser, then the piece that goes on top. So like I said, they just snap right down in there. This goes in there like that, boom, ready to go. So again, I appreciate Adam reaching out to me. This is a really nice system. You know, he did send me all the tiles on there, so I'm looking forward to do some more printing to add some stuff to my collection on here. I got a friend in our gaming group that plays BattleTech that saw this stuff and was like, oh my god, you know. So I'll print some stuff up, maybe give him a few tiles, and you know, be good to go. But definitely check the link out in the Kickstarter, and go ahead and jump on in if you know if this stuff interests you on here. And thanks again, Adam, and I appreciate you guys watching on the channel, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks.